I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I live and work, the Yuwid and Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all First Nations, including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be watching today's episode.
Sometimes things are spontaneous and you may not see anything, or people, as we say, are very good at wearing a mask or hiding something.
Maybe I'm not the right person to say anything. Like, who am I to intervene?
Feeling overwhelmed and unsure on what to do is perfectly natural, and no matter your age or your experience, it's a tough thing to do. So being someone that they can talk to and you encourage them to go get help can be a huge boost to them and get you through that particular moment in life.
Welcome to Shit Sparked, the podcast that gets real about addiction, mental health, and everything in between. I'm Paris, and I spent 17 years battling the bottle, 10 years hooked on meth, and I also did a stint in the escorting world, which nearly cost me everything, including my life. With both lived and professional experience, including qualifications in alcohol and other drugs, I'm here to share what I've learned along the way. Every journey is unique, and this podcast brings you stories, insights, and practical tools to help you find what works for you. Now, just a disclaimer, we dive into some tough topics here, including addiction, all forms of abuse, trauma, mental illness, suicide, self-harm, and the realities of life in recovery. These discussions can be intense, so please take care while listening and just make sure you're in the right headspace too. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to the podcast. Your support actually helps us more than you know, and it's one of the best ways to keep these conversations going. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the show, Bradley Isbister. Did I say that right?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
I even practiced it before, and I still, I don't know.
You said it better
Well,
than 90% of the people, so thank you.
Oh, is it probably because I did it quite slow? I tried to pronounce every single letter. But thank you so much for joining us. Bradley, you're actually coming in through from Perth, actually, same as me, and you are working for Neami at the moment. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really keen to get into this conversation about a project you've been working alongside and helping launch, which is Right By You.
Yeah, very excited. It's an awesome project, and it's having heaps of success in its early stages, or 2 years now. So keen to spread the word and let everyone know about it. So any chance to do that, it's fantastic.
Amazing. So can you start by introducing yourself and share what led you to become involved in the Right By You program at Neami?
Yep, so I've been involved in the mental health space or community development space for a while now, nearly 20 years, so I'm probably showing my age. My involvement in coming to Neami was I've been a youth worker in the Kimberley, the Pilbara and the Goldfields for a number of years, and then I came back to Perth for this role, which was 8 years ago, so time flies. And during that time, we were involved in a community project where some parents raised some challenges that young people were facing around social media and what to do if one of their friends was posting some content that they felt was a bit off. And when we looked around, there was not much information out there. So there was a discussion about creating a project, and there was a co-design with some young people, and they were very clear, not a brochure, not an app. They wanted a website because their phones were already full of apps. And the process was started to co-design this website and put it all online using local people, local faces, and young people had a full process all the way through.
So you mentioned that it was a website, so I thought I would put it up for everybody and we could have a look through it. So tell us a little bit about the website. I'll just have a brief scroll down and we can have a look, but tell us a little bit how this has been laid out and what's the best way to use it.
So the whole premise of the website is, as I said, you post something on your socials. I think that's not great. I can come to this website and it can give me some advice on how I can encourage you to seek help. So throughout the website, there's different videos on topics such as what a welfare looks like if you call the police, or how to talk to a friend about what's going on for them, how to do it safely, how to protect yourself. You can see there's I need urgent help, which is sort of more your emergency stuff. Then I'm worried about a friend. And then in the want to learn more section, or I want to understand more, there's other topics. So there's some things on there about environment and mental health. There's been a new page just added with Kids of Purple, which you can just see there, which is about lived experience of family and domestic violence for young people, which was designed by someone, a young person, as their school assignment actually, about family and domestic violence and what supports you can give your friends during that time. LGBTIQA plus supports, and it gives you some basic supports and some videos on different topics, but then it links you to more greater detailed websites that if you want to get further information. And there's information on there around Strong Spirit, Strong Mind and Well Mob for Aboriginal communities, and as well as some basic videos around the website for parents, things on school exams, friendship breakdowns, a number of topics that have been highlighted by young people, things that they're dealing with on a daily basis. The website is suitable for 12 to 25, so it can be accessed by all ages, and generally the premise of the website around mental health and challenges that people face is actually relevant to all of us. So even if I wanted to go look at something, I definitely can learn some more detail about supporting a friend because the principles are still the same. So yeah, there's a lot of work that's gone into it, and it's always evolving. As I said, we're just in our 2-year review, and as young people evolve, the website's also going to need to evolve with them.
Oh, absolutely. So the more support section, which is what we're pretty much on now, has got all these different topics, which is amazing. Really, really good to have such a diverse range of topics here and things that people can look at. I want to have a quickly look at the self-care. So is this more around like teaching younger or our youth how to take care of themselves?
Yeah, so this was an important part of the website. So if I was involved in helping you, it's going to take a toll on me, supporting your mental health. So it was important to add something that after I've encouraged you to seek help or helped you get to some support, that I can get some advice on how I can take some time to look after me. It's important to look after yourself as much as looking after other people, because as we know, if you're not your best self, you can't give your best support.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup, is what I like to say.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Okay. And then so the I'm worried section. So what's going on? What can I do to help? So this is very much referring to I'm worried about my friend. You know, I'm worried that they might be suicidal or they're going to do something really silly to hurt themselves. Is this kind of how does this work? The what's going on? What can I do to help? And contacts I can give my friend.
Yeah, so this is when you think they're at risk. So if they've posted something or you're in a Snapchat and you're talking and you're going, this something is off, this gives you some information. So it's important that the listeners understand that this is about early intervention. This is not necessarily crisis support, whilst that's more in the emergency contact section, but this is about, when you're having those conversations with a friend or you notice something is off, or as in this case that's just on the screen now about self-harm, it's how you can raise your concerns with your friends, how to do it in a safe way for both of you, and how to encourage them to seek support, whether it's from a parent, a teacher, a sports coach, an uncle, auntie, and there is a video on what a trusted adult could look like. It doesn't always just have to be the person that you're living with. It can be other people in your life. So it goes sort of through those different scenarios and just how you can pick up on some different signs. So whilst not all signs, as the website says there, is predictable and obvious, and people may not show them all, and it's definitely not a checklist, you can sort of see some things that may be going on for your friend that may put them in a higher risk. But it's important to probably also know sometimes things are spontaneous and you may not see anything, or people, as we say, are very good at wearing a mask or hiding something. So sometimes, unfortunately, things do occur, or some people make decisions very quickly. But in general, this website just gives you some ideas of things that are going on for someone and what may or may not show up when you're hanging out with them, talking with them on socials or a video call, etc., and just what's going on in their life that may be putting them under extra stress.
Yeah, and I think that's really important as well, because it can be hard to know, how to not only recognize when someone might be in trouble, but then, what do I do about it? Because I find it is a little bit taboo still. I mean, we're definitely moving along and we're getting into a much better space with mental health and suicide conversations, but I do find people do still hesitate to intervene or anything like that. Like, I even know some of my family members who've gone through these types of crises, and people have been very like, don't know what to do, or this is a bit hard, or I don't know, maybe I'm not the right person to say anything. Like, who am I to intervene? There's just a lot of confused feelings that I guess come up with it, and they get a bit frightened. A lot of fear takes over.
Yeah, it's hard for anyone, even someone that's been involved in this space for a long time, such as myself. Having those conversations, be it with a friend or someone I'm working with, it's never any easier at any time. What's important probably to people to know is asking someone if they're thinking or having thoughts of suicide or self-harm is not going to prompt anything. It's not going to make things any worse. So be direct and ask the question. But even just having someone ask, how are you? I'm here to listen to you, and if I can try and help you or find someone that can help, is a huge thing for someone, and it can actually improve things immensely because they're feeling like no one cares, or they're very sad, or have a number of emotions, and someone just checking in, even if the things aren't obvious, but you've just noticed that I'm off slightly, is a huge thing for me to go, oh, you do know me and you do care, can be an awesome thing.
Amazing. So what can I do to help? So this is the suggestions on, I guess, how to take that approach and start that conversation.
Yes. How to reach out to someone, things that you can do. There's some video on how you can ask. So the video itself is different young people just talking about how they would potentially ask how their friend is doing and then what they would do next. And when someone answers how they're doing it and doing it honestly, it's important to follow up with them and make sure you can do something, just don't leave them. And this can be hard for you. So sometimes it's not about us as a support person being the counsellor or the psychologist. It's just hearing what's going on for them and then encourage them to either reach out to a helpline or to speak to someone that they trust, as I said before, someone that's in their life, from a coach to a teacher, etc., or another friend's parents, and just to support them in finding the way to get extra help. It's not always on you as the young person to be the counsellor or the full-on support, because that can be a big burden for all of us.
I mean, we're not here to fix it, are we? Like, we're here just to hold space and to make sure that that person feels heard, understood, and that we can point them in the right direction.
And even when they talk to their trusted adult or someone they feel safe to talk, again, the parent or the coach is also not their counsellor. It's just they'll know some more options that are out there, whether it be a the headspace or the school nurse or psychologist, or just some extra mental health support, the youth worker, etc. So this website is not definitely designed for young people to be the counsellor, nor keep anything secret and feel the need to help. It's just checking in, noticing things, and then encouraging the friend to speak up and seek help. As we know, friends notice first, or are more inclined to tell you. As a young person is more inclined to tell a friend that they're struggling before they're going to tell any adult in their life. So
Yes.
this just gives them some extra pointers and some advice on what they can do with this friend that does disclose to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was just opening it up and looking at these. So these are like the kind of the steps you can take. So yeah, taking the warning signs seriously. I think that's always really important. And then the point is to start the conversation. So start with I noticed and explain what you've observed that made you concerned. So is everything okay? How can I help? Is there someone with you at the moment? Are you thinking about hurting yourself or suicide? So being direct. Have you told anyone? Have you planned how you would hurt yourself? Are you safe at the moment? So I think they're great suggestions, because it can be hard to, even on the spot, to think like, what do I say? Like, how do I address this? You can draw blanks when you're under that distress, knowing that someone's not okay.
Exactly. It's a pressure for anyone, no matter who they are, especially someone that's aged 15 or 20 or 22 or even 13.
Mm.
This is partly exactly why the website was, especially if you're Snapchatting with someone or just private messaging, it can just help the conversation along and give you some prompts, essentially, just for ways to check in.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that listen with no judgments. Don't lessen or deny their feelings. Ask them what they need and what you can do for them. Encourage them to connect them with a support system, which I think is really, really important. And also seeking professional support and checking in on them afterwards as well. I think that's a really important thing, because then people can think, in the moment, it's like, okay, yeah, they're caring about me, they're paying attention. But then I guess if you don't check in afterwards, I guess they might even start to feel a little bit alone again.
Even if you've connected them with a helpline or that they've gone to talk to someone, just sending them a message or and just checking in yourself. Go, I know you've spoken to someone, or just wondering how you are since our last conversation is a huge boost to someone, knowing that, yeah, as you said, someone still cares and it wasn't just a one-off situation.
So don't keep it to yourself is also a very important one too.
Yeah, so if someone does ask you to keep it a secret, which some young people can do, it's very important that you don't. And be upfront for them, if possible, that you say that this is not something that I can keep to myself. I'm worried about you. And a good tip also sometimes is, if you are with them, we can bring a helpline together. We can go see the person you want to tell together, so they're not alone. But ideally, or definitely, don't necessarily keep it a secret. It's about helping this person and getting them to some support that they'll need and get some benefit and extra help.
Yeah, absolutely. And if your friend is refusing help, it's normal for people to refuse help. Don't put pressure on them to accept your help. So what's the best course of action when someone's refusing help?
Sometimes people we know, I'm fine, don't worry about it. So sometimes you do have to ask the question multiple times, or
Mm.
as we saw early on, check in and say, I've noticed these things.
Mm.
If they're refusing help, sometimes we need to, as I said, tell someone that we trust as a trusted adult that we care, and let them know that this is important for their safety, and going on to seek extra help for them may need to occur. Even if you'll bring a helpline together, or there's many kids helpline have chat bots these days. So even if you're not thinking about comfortable talking in person or on video chat, There's chat lines now, Beyond Blue, Kids Helpline, Headspace, Reach Out, have a range of options for you to talk to someone, or either with your friend or alone.
All right, we were in the what can I do to help section. So contacts I can give my friends. So I'm guessing these are a bunch of resources. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Okay. So Kids Helpline, Headspace, Lifeline, Suicide Callback Service. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Oh, there's quite a lot in here.
And yeah, there's some extra supports there for people from different backgrounds. So Q Life provides support for people that maybe identify as LGBTIQA plus community. There's 1-3 Yarn, which is for the Aboriginal community. So there's different supports and websites and different backgrounds from different backgrounds. Or also the Kids Helpline, despite the name, do have under 12 and a teenage section and an younger adult section. So
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
broken up into different age groups, so you can go into those different sections.
And I like that there's a lot of mental health emergency response as well. So you've got the crisis support lines on here as well, the triage services too in different states, and nurse on call as well in Victoria. That's great. And the online forums, I think this is also really good too. It gives people an option to, talk to someone online if maybe they're not ready to actually pick up that phone and have that conversation.
There is other options out there that, as you said, that are not just on the phone. There's things that you can look up or go visit their websites and talk in a chatbot kind of scenario. Especially if you want to keep everything still anonymous at this point in time. At least you're still getting help and talking to someone and getting some advice that is current and best practice and safe, most importantly, is not just someone that thinks they should be doing, you should do this. It's coming from a place that we can all trust.
Yeah, absolutely. So emergency, this is for like crisis, like this person's about to act. This is this section. Okay.
Yeah. So this is not necessarily the premise of the website, but as we know, sometimes, unfortunately, this might be the case. So this just gives some background on what to do if you're worried about there being an imminent risk to your friend. There's a police officer there that just speaks about what happens if you call 000. It's important to say when you're calling 000 or I think it's 13, 11, 14, the police number, to be clear that you have tried speaking with them, you've tried to find some extra help for them, and this is your call because you're extremely worried about your friend and they're at imminent risk, to make sure that the 000 caller understands that this is a priority. It's important to convey that to the police that you have done those things and you're extremely worried about them or their safety.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's the trusted adults. So that's that video that you mentioned before. The welfare check. Yes. This is one of my favorites. I tend to lean on a welfare check quite a bit. But I think they're really important. Some people get a bit hesitant with welfare checks, but I think they're really, really good to lean on and to use if you feel someone is in trouble.
Yeah, welfare checks are very important. Calling the police to come check on someone. Sometimes you're right. When it happens, you may not be happy with that it happens, but this is because your friends or family were extremely worried about you and they didn't know what else to do and thought that you were at extreme risk, so they've reached out for extra help for someone to check in on you, being the police or ambulance, to come support you. And
I know it can be quite daunting. Like I know for me, I've had to do welfare checks numerous times over the years, over whether it's family, friends, but particularly, even when I was in active addiction, there was people that I knew that were heroin addicts. And with heroin addicts, unfortunately, particularly here in Australia, one of the things that would happen is they might have like what they call a hot shot, which is like methamphetamines and heroin mixed together. And that risk of someone overdosing from that is really high. So I had to do a lot of welfare checks because I wouldn't be able to get a hold of them because they might be knotted out or something had happened. And I would just be genuinely so worried that they might have overdosed, and knowing even what mental state that they were in before attempting to use or anything like that. And I did have some friends that I'd called for a welfare check on, obviously not respond the best, but do I regret it? No, because, at that point of time, it was very much life and death, that's how I perceived it anyway. I thought did I really want to take the risk? Like, would I be okay with myself, if I didn't make that call and something did happen? I would rather just play it safe and make the call anyway and make sure that they're safe no matter what. And in most of those cases, though, when I have called someone, they've come around eventually. They've usually come back to me and been like, you know what, thank you. I actually needed that. You helped me that night. Thank you. So even if they react badly initially, it doesn't mean they're going to stay mad either. They often will recognize that that was something that they needed at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are all the online content as well as like where to report something that you see on social media. So that's really helpful as well. That's great. What else have we got on here? Chat safe, what to do when you see harmful. Okay. So more videos. I love that. More resources. Beautiful. Okay. All right, listen up, legends. If you're looking to experience the real Western Australia, there's no better way than with Why Not Bus, who is one of our sponsors. I've actually been on their tour, and let me tell you, it is awesome vibes, epic adventures, and I made lifelong friends. We're talking snorkeling with sea lions, manta rays, whale sharks, camping under the stars, and taking your time to enjoy the beauty of WA. Use my discount code PARIS2025 and get $300 off your next tour. Go to www.whynotbus.com.au. So, can you explain why it was important to tailor this resource specifically for youth and how it empowers them to support their friends during a mental health crisis?
So as we sort of discussed, research shows that friends are more likely to know before any adults in a young person's life. So empowering the young person to know what signs to look for or how to seek help for their friend or what a trusted adult looks like. It just gives them extra tools to their toolbox. So when talking to a friend, they're worried about how they can encourage them to seek help. The website, all those colours, all the topics have all been designed by young people. The language, whilst best practice, is language that young people can identify and understand with. If all those things weren't happening, it's just something that they won't engage with. So it was extremely important to be involved in that space and design it in that way. Essentially, it empowers you as a young person to support your friends and have some things at your disposal that you can try and help if you know something's off, as well as some things to help yourself. We went through the self-care section, and all those videos are being designed by young people for young people, so it all makes sense. And that's the way the advertising on social media is also created. So it's just trying to make everything as simple and easy and as interesting for you to help your friends when you think they're needed.
Absolutely. So one of the main goals of Right By You is to help young people identify warning signs and initiate conversations. So what are some of the most common signs young people should watch out for when someone is at risk of suicide?
It's important to always note that sometimes there isn't signs of what someone is thinking. It can be spontaneous and impulsive, but collectively people can, and in many cases, show what's going on for them in subtle ways. So just be aware that things that they might say, I might want to end this, everyone would be better off without me, I don't want to be here anymore, soon you won't have to worry about what my opinion is, or things that they might do as giving away possessions, like their favorite items that you know that they treasure. They may go out a little bit more and party a little bit more harder than what they're used to. So increasing alcohol or drug use at much more higher levels than you know that they would do in the past. Engaging with self-destructive behaviour. So it could be someone that's pretty low-key on a sporting field or in the classroom, and then they start blowing up at the teacher or at the opposition and picking fights with someone, which is completely out of their nature. It might be because they're dealing with some extra stress and just want to get that out. They might completely withdraw because they're feeling sad and not non-sociable. It could be just checking in on that to make sure that they're doing okay. And any changes in their eating or sleeping, if they're eating more or less, or again, these things can sometimes be in isolation, just something that's happening for them. But when you start looking at all of them, it's still worth checking in on their friend to make sure that they're okay. As well as things that they might be doing or saying, there might be some things going on in their life as well. So family trouble, the family might be going through a divorce or a breakup, which is really stressing them out. Being, as I said, expelled from school for unnatural behaviour, a loss of a relationship. So if there has been a breakup or in an intimate partner or a friendship group, or someone's moved away and you know that that person's really close with someone, sometimes that can cause some mental health challenges for people. And they also have a general fear of being a burden to people and don't want to cause any trouble for anyone. And then other things that might be going on that you may witness, so maybe some bullying is going on online or in their life. That's a time to check in, or if you see some chat threads and things and it's quite harsh on that particular person, that's a good time to check in. Or if they're experiencing something from some discrimination because of their sexual orientation or their religious beliefs, or some racism can be a burden to people. So there's lots of things that can be seen or happen, but sometimes, as we've said, it doesn't always show up like that. So if you feel something is off, reach out and ask them what's going on for them.
Yeah, and I think even rule of thumb, let's just check in with our friends, even if everything does seem okay. Let's just have a conversation. How's your week been? How's your day been? How's everything going? I think that would be good to initiate that on a more regular basis.
We never know what's going on for the person that we're talking to, so
yeah,
be kind always, as they say. And yeah, if you feel something's off, ask them how they're doing and check in.
So how can someone who's worried about a friend who is showing suicidal signs approach the conversation without making the person feel isolated or defensive? Like, are there any particular phrases or tactics that work better than others?
As when we scroll through the website, there is a video on some tips. I definitely recommend going to watch that. But make sure they are okay. So ask them the question, are they seeking help? And if not, encourage them to seek help from support. Talk one-on-one, be it in text or a video chat or in person. Be in a quiet area. Don't do it necessarily in front of a whole heap of people or in the middle of the dance floor. If it's safe to ask, are they thinking of suicide or taking their life? Be direct, and asking that question won't cause any further distress or put them at a higher risk. In some cases, people may feel relief that someone has actually asked me the hard question and I really do need to think about this. So it's important to be direct. Ask what you can do to help, whether it's just being listening. Don't try and solve the problems for them. Be there as a friend and listen, and encourage them to seek help from whether it be a parent or a teacher or a sports coach or another family member that they feel comfortable talking to. And as we've said, check in afterwards. So after you've gone, encourage them to seek help a couple of days later or the next day. Just check in to see how they're doing. So there's a lot of things that we can be doing and saying, and it's just asking the question and checking in with them and being a supportive friend.
So, looking at the bigger picture, how do you think programs like Right By You can change the conversation around mental health and suicide prevention in Australia?
The exciting part of the new generations and younger generations is, whilst it's still taboo, it's being less taboo for young people. They're willing to talk about mental health. They're willing to talk about self-care. They want to look out for their friends. They've got more access to more information than ever, so they want to do the right thing. They're more aware of what's going on in the world and how that can affect everyone. The Right By You gives the tools for young people to explore and helping their friends. It's an extra opportunity for early intervention. So, as I said, this website is not about you being the counsellor or the psychologist. It's about seeing some things that your friend might be going through and encourage them to get help. It's opening that door that little bit earlier, that little bit sooner, and showing someone that you care can be a huge benefit. It raises more awareness. So the extra promotion of the Right By You website, conversations like we're having on this podcast, all adds up to more awareness for everyone and creating a safety net, and just makes everything safer for everyone, and we're all looking out for each other.
Yeah, beautiful. And actually, I'm going to slide in another question there, Bradley. But or does Neami have any other plans on like evolving this further or doing anything more with this program?
Yeah, so the website itself and the program was driven by local people in Perth and WA, some country perspectives as well. The goal is to take the website national and increase the promotion of it nationally. At the moment, my program is sort of promoting it on local social media in the Perth metro area. So the goal is to increase the promotion level all across Australia. It has been talked about in other places like Triple J Hack, Mamma Mia have covered the story on the website. So the goal is to make it relevant for young people across the country. There is some support numbers and things on the website from other states, and to, as I said, evolve with tastes and technology of what young people prefer is something that Neami itself has to be aware of, so the website can grow as the tastes and interests of young people change. But at the moment, the goal from my perspective is to definitely take it on a much bigger and national level, and ideally ambassadors from around the country, sports teams and artists and young influencers picking up and talking about and just increasing the awareness in general.
Amazing. That's really exciting. I can't wait to see more of this. And I can't wait as well, just for the listeners to be able to get a chance to have a look at it. And I'll be able to add it onto my resources if I haven't already on the website. I'll be able to add it into show notes as well, so people can find the links to it in all the show notes. So going forward, it will be there as a resource. And just, yeah, spreading the word. I think it's an amazing tool.
And that's been great reception by young people, as well as the services in the sector. The services have been involved in checking the language and ensuring it's best practice, and just presenting in a way that young people can identify with and connect with, ensuring that everything's safe. So it's been very well received by everyone.
That's so great. Well, to wrap it up, those listening right now who might feel unsure or even scared about intervening, what advice could you give someone about how they can help a friend in crisis without feeling overwhelmed? Like how can they help themselves?
Feeling overwhelmed and unsure on what to do is perfectly natural, and no matter your age or your experience, it's a tough thing to do for anyone, no matter what they are. So, as I said, big step is to actually ask your friend about suicide or self-harm. Be direct with them. Are you thinking of taking your life or injuring yourself? Be prepared to visit places like Right By You. Practice the questions that you may want to ask someone. Know some of the talking points that are on the website. I've noticed that this is going on for you, or you've not come to football practice or art class in a long time. How are you? Asking someone if they're okay and need support, or thinking of suicide will not prompt someone to suddenly start thinking about that. So it's okay to ask the question. You're not putting anyone at extra risk. And people generally don't want to die. They just want the pain to end at that particular time. So being someone that they can talk to and you encourage them to go get help can be a huge boost to them, and get you through that particular moment in life and to get some extra support. So being there and asking how they are is a huge first step and is one of the most important steps.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Bradley. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and it's been amazing just seeing everything Right By You is doing, and it's incredible. I think it's a really, really amazing tool for our youth to use, and I can't wait to spread it out there further.
Thank you for your help, and thanks for having us. And it's definitely getting more traction every time, even with our modest budget. Promoting on social media, ads have been seen by 12 million people, young
Amazing.
people, and the website over the 2 years since its launch is nearing 100,000 individual visitors. So given
That's
what
incredible.
we're talking about and the topic, people are engaging with it, and the message is definitely getting out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.